Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I will call this meeting to order. We have established a quorum and we will go through with introductions. My name is Paula Levy. I represent El Paso County and I am the chair of this commission.
And I'll go next and then I'll call on folks. So I'm Melissa. I'm with the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging. And then I will turn it over to Connie.
Hi there, I'm Connie Ryan. I represent the El Paso County area. Yeah.
Great. And Jody.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jody Barker, Director of the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging.
Thank you. And Kathy.
Hi, this is Kathy Cirillo Smith, and I'm with the State Commission on Aging.
Thank you. And Penny.
Oh, Penny Everest, Executive Director for Park County Senior Coalition.
Great. Amy. We'll come back to Amy here shortly. Jared, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm happy to. Jared Verner with the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging.
Super. And then I do want to just take a minute and acknowledge that we do have a guest on the call today. And his name is Phil Bosma. And Phil, I don't know if you want to say hello to the commissioners. So I met Phil at Denarian Golf Tournament, and he is very interested in community engagement and activities for older adults. He is an older adult who is 80-something at the octogenarian golf tournament and expressed some interest in learning more about the Commission on Aging and possibly joining. So I'm glad, Phil, you could join us today. And if I'll ask again if you want to say hello. All right. Then I will turn it back. I think I got everyone. Did I miss anyone?
Looks like Amy was able to come off mute.
Oh, great. Thank you. All right, Amy, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm Amy Smith and I'm here representing Fountain. My mouse wouldn't work, so I panicked for a second, but
Thanks, Amy. All right, I'll turn it back over to Chair Levy.
Great, thank you, Melissa, and welcome a guest always at our meetings. Next, I would like to call for a motion for the agenda approval for this meeting.
I move that the minutes, the agenda be approved. This is
Thank you,
Kathy.
Kathy. A second.
This is Connie. I have a second.
All right, so we have a motion by Kathy and a second by Connie. So the agenda has been approved.
You need to call for a
Next.
vote on that, Chair Levy.
I'm sorry, thank you. Is there anyone opposed to the agenda approval? Raise your hand or speak up. Seeing none, the agenda has been approved. Thank you, Jody, for your guidance. There's Phil. Okay.
Phil finally figured out how to unmute microphone.
Oh, that's all right. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank
Glad
you.
to have you. Next item is consent items. And do we have any consent items that are not listed on the agenda? Of one, I see one. One is the approval of the minutes from the May 15th meeting. No, I'm looking at the wrong agenda. I'm sorry. One, one is to approve the minutes from our June meeting. Is that correct?
Nope, you were fine. It's the minutes
Oh,
from the,
okay.
yep.
So it was the minutes from the May meeting?
Yeah, so it's hard sometimes because here we're looking at right now the minutes and they're the June. It looks like it might be the agenda. Anyway, it gets kind of weird sometimes, Paula. So we just are
Okay.
wanting to, yeah, we need to approve
So
the ones from
we're just
June.
wanting a motion to approve the minutes from the
June meeting.
June meeting?
Yes.
Is
Yep.
it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I had a board meeting this morning, so I'm extra confused on agenda items. My mind's going, ah. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the June meeting?
A motion to approve. This is Connie Ryan.
Thank you, Connie. Second,
Okay, and Kathy will second.
thank you. And in favor of those minutes to be approved, say aye or raise a hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Do we have, was Penny from the coalition on?
She is.
Yes, I'm here.
And Amy, okay. I'm assuming that they are saying aye also.
Yes,
Okay, great.
I'm done.
Next is our action items. And we
Madam Chair,
are,
if I can interrupt,
Oh, hi.
due to formality on the for the public comments presentations. But all that to say, ask anyone who's not a commission member to please raise their hand if they'd like to provide public comment. In that meantime, we did not receive any advance requests for public comment. We did not receive any written public comment that we would distribute to the commission members. I do not see any hands raised. So now I'm comfortable with you going on to action items.
all right, thank you. All right. Item number 5, action items. We have okay, here's an action item listed in a memo form. Agenda item number 5, Aaron was appointed representative for Innovations on Aging. With the closure of Innovations, the membership role in the bylaws was being removed, so the commission has welcomed Aaron, Ms. Marzella, as staying on the commission as an at-large member. She has had an appointment from, remind me of the city council person.
Yolanda Avila.
Yeah, Yolanda Avila. And did that happen at a council?
Not yet. They've received,
Okay.
so the next steps with that is Yolanda has received Aaron's resume and a couple of statements about why she wants to continue with the commission. Yolanda is presenting that to the other 2 city council members who sit on the PPACG board to confer on doing Aaron's appointment. So that's where that sits as of last week.
Okay, and that is for at the at-large seat. And so we are just deciding to action item as
Yes,
presented.
yes, Madam Chair, this is Jody. This proposed motion is an interim solution while we wait for the City of Colorado Springs process to go through. Once she
All right,
has
thank you.
been confirmed as a member, then this will come back to be changed out again. But this will allow Aaron to continue in her duties as membership chair, as well as to remain a voting member of the Commission on Aging.
Okay. And so I ask, are we going to be going to a more formal designation for commissions? Or is this just special because of the closing of Innovations on Aging?
Correct. This, because the Innovations in Aging was actually built into the bylaws as the originator of the Age-Friendly Colorado Springs, which built out the commission. There was a place for a staff member of Innovations in Aging built into the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging bylaws. The bylaws are in the process of being redrafted to coincide and align with the rest of the PPACG committee bylaws across the entire network. And so, as mentioned, this is that language is being removed. This proposed motion today will let Aaron continue to play a role with the Commission on Aging while the city appointment process goes through their steps. Once she does have the formal appointment letter in there, once we have the appointment letter in hand, probably in a next meeting or so, then we will bring it back to formalize and move her from an at-large member to a city-appointed member.
Gotcha. I appreciate that explanation. I'm just wondering, since we were trying to get representation from other cities and towns, would it be beneficial for us to ask for that type of appointment through the municipal governments and maybe make that, to have Woodland Park have an appointment, to have this town of Monument to have an appointment, so that it's more of a formal and feels more of an important type of.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. That is actually part of the process and why we want to ensure Erin is able to stay in her role as membership chair. Within the structure of PPACG and all of the committees and commissions across all of PPACG, there are appointment opportunities for all of the membership or governments as well as at-large members. And so this right now is at large simply because it's not an appointed position. She will become an appointed member as we go through the city process. She is working actually with Melissa, and we've been working with the new mayor of Woodland Park, Kelly Case, to provide some appointments out of Woodland Park, for example. And so those positions that's still an ongoing process. It's in our world, it's never ending. People come and go, appointees come and go. But this is, like I said, this is just an interim at large, as if she were a private member of the public applying to become a member of the Commission on Aging. But it's really the only way that we can ensure she can stay in her role and continue to be a voting member until the city of Colorado Springs process is completed. So the rest of it, for appointments from Woodland Park, Manitou Springs, there can be appointments from basically all 16 of our member governments have opportunity to appoint members to the Commission on Aging, as well as the other 8 or 9 committees and commissions across all of PPACG. So all board members are aware of that. It just looks a little different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, and Aaron is working well with Melissa to continue those searches.
Great, thank you for that explanation.
Certainly.
So that's our only action item. So do we need a motion to action item temporarily?
Correct.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the action requested for Aaron Marizella's membership change on the commission. Do I have a motion?
Amy Mitchell, I so move.
Thank you, Amy. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Connie. Is there anyone that opposes that action request? Speak now. I hear none. Motion goes forward. with approval. Thank you. Next is item 6, information items. We have committee reports. First up is membership committee, and I don't see Aaron on the call today. So Melissa, might you have a report on membership?
Well, in some ways, I think we already just kind of gave it. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're
Oh, I
looking through.
didn't know if we had the people that were kind
Not
of
at,
mentioned.
yeah, not at
before.
this time. Nope, not at this
Okay.
time.
Great. All right. Next is our policy committee. And first up is Commissioner Mitchell for the Colorado Center for Aging.
Colorado Center for Aging is basically having discussions with interested stakeholders on what legislation might be brought forth in 2025. There has not been anything inked or any determination made. Did some review over what legislation passed this year and was signed by the governor, went into effect without governor's signature. And so really we're kind of in a summer pause, which is quite nice to have a little bit of downtime before things start wrapping up. But as soon as they start getting categories of what legislation they're going to start to focus on categories that were not taken care of this year, I'll be bringing those forth. But my calendar is getting a little crazy since I am taking over some positions for as we are in elections and we're going to be losing a commissioner. So I am not always able to attend that Monday morning call with them, but I'm doing my best to be able to do it through this summer. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for that report, Amy. Next is the PPACG Legislative Committee. I guess you just touched on that too. Commissioner Mitchell, do you have anything else to add on the Legislative Committee?
Oh, let's see. We haven't had one for a while. I don't know. Jared can probably clue me in more. Jared, you give us great updates on nationally what's going on, but I don't think we've started that process yet.
Well, I will retake a national conversation. I would say the legislative committee on the PPACD side is primarily just kind of focused on organization a little bit, as Commissioner Mitchell referred to, catch our breath, enjoy the quiet time of year. I will say, but the only thing of note is that, and this is just kind of a due diligence and making sure we're getting what we need. We are out for quote for lobbying services. This is not anything. It's not like we're upset with our current provider. It's just we've been with them for 3 years, and now in between general sessions, it's just kind of a nice time to go out for quote. So if anyone knows of any good lobbying firms that would be interested, please let us know. We're happy to send out the scope of services. But that is pretty much about it. We had a really good conversation with House Minority Leader Rose Puglisi at the July meeting earlier this month, which was just a great conversation. She's obviously as in a leadership position, she's pulled in a lot of different directions. So for her to be able to dedicate time to meet with the legislative committee was incredibly fortunate for us, and just really be able to bounce a lot of ideas back and forth. But that's pretty much about it. The committee meets monthly during the interim session, so they won't meet again until August 5th.
Thank you, Jared. Your mic sounds like either you're talking too close to it or it's just a little hard to hear everything you're saying. I'm not sure what's going on with it. Is anybody else having that issue also with Jared's mic? Okay.
How about now?
Oh, much better.
Perfect. Much better.
Yeah.
That's all right. Thank you for.
And Jen, what is Rose's role? She's
House Minority Leader.
Thank you.
All right. Next is our State Commission on Aging. report, and Commissioner Suriello Smith is going to give us that report.
Hi. Well, the state commission hasn't met since the conference, and pretty much all the subcommittees have disbanded until our next meeting. And several of the commissioners have, their terms have expired. So not quite sure what it's going to look like. Or are expiring, I guess is more accurate. Anyway,
And Kathy, your term is not expiring though, correct?
actually mine is, but I've reapplied, so I don't know what the
Okay.
status of that is.
Okay. And I'd like to add a couple more comments to Kathy's. So Kathy and I spoke earlier this week about the link up more kind of directly between the Pikes Peak Commission on Aging and the Colorado Commission on Aging. Again, as a result of the Future of Aging Conference. And so, you know, Kathy and I are going to meet again on Monday at her house and continue to talk a little bit more because, again, as she noted, the 4 committees that the commission has had in the past may change in the future. Number one. The good news was when Kathy and I talked, when she reminded me of those committees, it reminded me that the 4 working groups that we have are aligned with the Colorado Commission on Aging, and what their committees were. So, and you know, it's been so long since we've, you know, kind of coalesced all these things. I wasn't really sure if partly why we landed on the committees that we did was a direct alignment with the Colorado Commission on Aging. I feel like it was a lot more of an alignment with the 4-year plan, which aligns with the state stuff as well. But it is kind of nice to see it all coming together because the Colorado Commission on Aging's committees were caregiving, housing and transportation, mental health, and then public policy, right? And so Kathy reminded me that the mental health one has kind of a component around social engagement and decreasing isolation. So it really did overlap with our social engagement committee that we have. So that was a really good reminder for me that I wanted to share back with all of you guys that even though we don't always have, I know Kathy is on our committee, on our commission and on the state commission as well, but you know, sometimes it just, you know, doesn't always feel like we're always, you know, communicating back and forth, and hoping that the state commission, when they kind of get their new commissioners on board and meet again, might entertain the idea of kind of twice a year having the regional commissions like ours, you know, come to their meeting and kind of have more of a formal back and forth exchange. So anyway, just something to kind of help. Again, we've been talking about this for a while and then it kind of goes on the back burner for a bit, but just having an opportunity for the regional commissions to, you know, interface with each other, see the link that we have with the state. The state has the link with the regional commissions, and just kind of going from there. So if anyone wants to join Kathy and I next Monday at her house at 1:00, shoot me an email and I'll get you guys more information. And then Jared can make it a formal meeting if we end up having more than 3 commissioners present. So just let me know. Looking forward to that. And Kathy, you know, looking forward to you continuing your appointment with them. And I think that was all I wanted to add to Kathy's comments.
Great, thank you. Next is the PPACG board items, and that is Jody.
Good afternoon, everyone. We did not have any aging specific items at the last PPACG board meeting, but we did recognize one of our longtime staff members, Pamela Hogard, who celebrates 30 years as a PPACG staff member this year. So she was recognized for her time on staff. So that was really good. What I thought I'd do is really briefly, since since there really wasn't anything big on the board and nothing specific around aging, is I had the opportunity to attend the U.S. Aging National Conference last week in Tampa, Florida. And just wanted to share a little bit about that. I do sit as a chair representing Federal Region 8 here in Colorado, and as a board member for the U.S. Aging. And if you think of the U.S. Aging as our national level advocate, its membership is made up across 614 AAAs across the United States, as well as about 117 Title VII Native American programs, all paid out of the Older Americans Act and Title VII, which is Title III and Title VII Native American Act programs. And so it's really great conference. I thought I'd share some of the highlights and the topics that were shared through were, of course, all the things federal going on with the Older Americans Act, which is our federal act that guides what we do, how we do it, and how the funding comes to us down to our regional level across our 3 counties. A lot of discussion around funding diversification. We're not seeing enough increase in our overall funding, both at the federal and state levels, to really keep up with the needs in our communities. And so there are a lot of idea sharing right now around accessing other funding sources. And so a lot of great ideas shared around that. Some of the other sessions I attended were around transportation and hearing some ideas around that. I love to go to these and get ideas for different of our programs, whether it's something that we manage directly or that we contract for. And so brought back some materials for our mobility coordinator, Laura Cruz. We also talked really heavily around the Older Americans Act reauthorization. You may remember me sharing not too long ago that the rules around the Older Americans Act really had not been updated since 1988. Here we are in 2024, and so it really needed a refresh. So that had been taking place over the last year and a half. Those final rules were updated and released back in February. They've now been released to us as AAAs and across the network. And so we're going through those to understand some of the new rulemaking. That rulemaking, while it's in effect now, we have to make sure that we're completely in compliance by next October 1 of 2025. Fortunately, in so many times, I will say that in both state and federal government rulemaking, they set they give us deadlines, and then they set the rules, and they don't really give guidance in how to manage or achieve the changes. There seems to be a lot more back and forth with our federal administrators, which is the Administration on Community Living out of Health and Human Services at the federal level, about those changes. And in fact, not just the rulemaking itself document, which is 100 some pages to coincide with the Older Americans Act, which is about 500 pages. But they've also created a spreadsheet for us to highlight the changes, what was there before, what was here now, and what we're going to need to do to focus on bringing those rules into alignment with our services. So you can hear right there what my focus is going to be really for the next year and a half, is making sure that not just the AAA office, but all of our contractors are in compliance with the new rules before next October, which will be the next fiscal year. Along with that comes a lot of discussion with the reauthorization. So many times, reauthorization happens around every 4 to 5 years with any mandate, any statute like this. And so this is an important process which allows feedback from the regional level as well as the states, and then ultimately our advocates in U.S. Aging to help those at the Administration on Community Living and the Health and Human Services at the federal level provide input to the reauthorization process. The reauthorization basically is saying, yes, we acknowledge this mandate, and this is how we're going to pay for it for the next 5 years. And so this is a really great opportunity for us. And much like you heard recently during the state legislative process, there will likely be options for you all as Regional Commission on Aging members to join me in our advocacy efforts, even at the federal level coming up. And so be watching for those opportunities from us. We're waiting to hear now what those opportunities might look like. Right now, the funding discussions are taking place at the federal level. We're seeing cuts in some areas and increases in others. And while there's no definitive answers yet, fortunately, the cuts aren't as bad as they could be. But unfortunately, the increases aren't nearly as high as what we would really like to see happen. And so just a lot of back and forth, as you might imagine. It's now moving on to the Senate side at the federal level for them to have their go at the reauthorization along with the funding recommendations. And so you'll be hearing more from me on that yet again. Jared mentioned earlier the July meeting, the July Legislative Subcommittee of the PPACG Board did invite Rose Pugliese to join us. And one of the questions I had for her was about continuing to express the need for additional state funding into all services across Colorado. And of course, my passion and my advocacy is really focused on our 3 counties here in Region 4, but really across the state, how best to bring those funds more closely in alignment with the need. And she had some really great advice, as you might imagine. It's never too late to start, and it's never too early to start. And so Jared and I will be formulating some language. We're going to be pulling together some both data and stories to express the need. And as soon as we have opportunity, as the legislative season gets started, I'll be back up to the Capitol just like I was this past spring, testifying at any given opportunity, as well as meeting with our legislators. And so you're going to hear a lot about these efforts from me over the next year and a half, because this is becoming my focus in advocating for this increase in funding and looking for other funding opportunities to make sure that we can serve the older adults of our 3 counties as best possible. So that's what I have to share here. I don't think there was anything else, since Jared had the opportunity to share a little bit on the legislative side. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your all's efforts, and be watching for those advocacy opportunities as I get those back out to you. Also, just one quick note, we are approaching our state legislative recess, and so we're going to be looking for opportunities. They may come short and sweet and fast, and so if you have opportunity to join me in any of those, you'll just be watching for invitations to that. We don't know what that's going to look like yet, but do be aware that you may see something come across. And as always with everything legislative, it's all down to the last minute. We can plan for ages, and sometimes it's, can you be there at noon tomorrow? Can you be there at 2 today? Sometimes it happens really fast and we have to move swiftly. That includes sometimes the letter writing and the phone calls. So I appreciate wherever you're able to give some time to that as we move into this next season. So thanks. And I'm open to any questions if you have. Otherwise, Madam Chair, that is my report for today.
Thank you. Melissa did have her hand raised.
I just want to put an exclamation point on Jody asking for stories to showcase the need that older adults in our region have. And I know I had a conversation with Kathy about transportation. And so, there's an ongoing need for transportation. I know you know Jody, but I do know that Kathy would be able to to testify on the need for transportation services and supports in her life. And so there's one story right there. And again, for everybody on the call, the next time you hear an older adult express a concern or a need, maybe jot it down and send it to Jody and I. So we just have a reminder, and that prompted Dayton to raise his hand.
Hands all over the place. Dayton.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you could hear me okay.
Yes.
So, Melissa, in terms of kind of the feedback loop, it reminds me of kind of our past initiative where we were trying to kind of seek input via sort of public comment. And I'm wondering if we kind of dust that flyer or that form off and we include it in any sort of newsletter or social media posts or anything like that on a regular basis to show that we are trying to keep a pulse read on needs among the aging space.
I'll be happy to kind of pull that back up and kind of circulate that around through email and refresh all of our memories about it, Dayton.
All right, Connie, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just had a question about the story. Can it be written from a third-party perspective, or do we need the actual testimonial from the person experiencing this issue?
Yeah, I would say really any of that is fine. We will, we don't have it all mapped out yet. We're collecting that internally as well from feedback that we get from clients with some of our survey processes across the year. I would say whatever you have that expresses the need, expresses the gratitude for a solution to that need, or anything that is expressing increased solutions to that need, whether it's solutions or funding to the need. But really it can, there's something to be said for a first person testimonial. But at this point, I am very happy to receive any kind of feedback and testimonials or survey data or anything like that that can help us tell that story of the great need that we have. I'll give you all a really general idea. As you know, we contract with many providers across our 3 counties in order to meet the requirements of the focus areas of the Older Americans Act, as well as our 4-year plan. When we asked our providers in this brand new 2-year contract period to submit their RFPs, their requests for proposals, the needs were over 8 million, but we only have about 5.5 million to spend. And so what that tells me is, yes, mathematically, that means 2.5 million in services are going unmet. But when we really dig down, that means Mrs. Smith doesn't get a meal and Mr. Smith doesn't get a ride. And that's what we have to translate some of that data to, is what is happening when we are not able to fulfill that need through those funds. And so that's really what it comes to. So even a provider saying, look, I have this much money, but I have this many clients. That's the kind of information, and these are the clients that I'm having to turn away from services, or that I'm having to refuse, or I'm having to put on a wait list, whatever that might be. All of that will serve a purpose in this advocacy season that we're coming into.
Great, Jody. Thank you so much. I know some of us have many, many stories we could share. Probably a book full of stories. I appreciate you asking for those. Next is a chair report. I think this whole meeting is a chair report, kind of. I don't know that I have anything specific, unless Melissa's always my memory from before, so I have to rely on her if she's there.
Nope, I think I'm good for now, Paula.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Presentations, item number 7. Do we have any presentations?
Nope, we're good
Hearing
on that.
none. Working sessions. Item 8. We talked about working sessions in the executive meeting this month, and I think the caregiver work session is kind of off and running, and the other ones are working well with each other. I don't know that we need to take meeting time. Is that kind of what we decided at the executive meeting? I don't think we need to take the meeting time to break out, partly because not everyone is present all the time, and for those that want to talk about their thing, we can do it during this meeting and just update during the meeting. I believe that's what we came up with. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So is there anyone on their committee that would like to give a report or update or thoughts about where you all are on your committee goals and actions? Anyone?
I can give a caregiver brief update. We have our meeting next week, I believe, for our little committee group. Phil Campbell was able to talk to, I think it's Aberdeen Ridge, whatever the newest facility is. In fact, the AAA uses it already for a meeting space for some things. And they are very open to the idea of being our host and the location and not charging us. So that's something we'll be discussing next week in our meeting. But I think we're making some good progress, and we have a really good group of motivated individuals who are participating and helping. So that's what we're working on for that right now.
That's great.
And I don't know if we have made it clear to the rest of the group yet, that the caregiver group is targeting October 2025 for the conference.
Thanks, Melissa, for that date update. Dayton, did you have anything to report from you and Aaron's?
I don't, Paula.
Okay. And
This is
then-
Amy. I think Penny and I do, but Penny would like to provide a report.
Yes, I would, definitely. I
Penny?
met with the ladies from the state and local libraries, and the tech stations are set up in some of those libraries. I know, Amy, you and I haven't talked in a while, but that process is very much underway, and they actually got some additional funding from Summit, and they're going to finish outfitting the rest of those libraries with the tech stations for the virtual visits for mental and health.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Penny,
Will
for
we-
that report. Can you just go over the general goal of your committee for our guest?
We were doing
Please.
healthcare, and we wanted to do televised healthcare, like virtual visits. And so that's what we were working on. And we were looking at some of those ambulance stations up and down 285 to see if we couldn't do something there. But then we found out that the libraries have already started that process, and they have the technology there in Guffey, and I believe Fairplay, and definitely Bailey does. So it's really easy for a senior to walk into there and just maybe ask for some help from the librarian, and they'll show them how to set it up and everything. And then our office has also volunteered to go to meet these seniors anywhere they need to, and we'll help them with the tech.
Great.
Right,
Thank
and-
you for that.
Right. And if I can just expand a little bit, one of the challenges we're having with the ambulance districts is we needed to have volunteers and a set schedule to be able to make sure we had somebody there if the ambulance districts had to go out on a call. And with the libraries, people know what their open hours are, they're posted. And so it eliminates that whole scheduling, and we'll figure out how we can fold into ambulance districts in the future, because they do have the capability and the technology. But there is, and I can forward you, Melissa, the gal I've been talking to, Penny, I can't remember her name. We've communicated by email, who is very open to helping us with this whole process and looking for additional funding if we need it. So we can pass that on to Teller and El Paso County if they need assistance in getting their libraries up to speed.
Yeah, I think I have that contact. I can get it for you. I believe it's Jennifer, but I don't know her last name. I'd have to look it up, but I can forward that out. Not a problem.
You forward that to Melissa, she can disperse that to everybody, and it's looking very hopeful, right, Penny?
Very hopeful, very.
That's fantastic. Melissa, you have a hand up?
Yes. So the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging has a podcast called Aging with Altitude, and I think it might be a good story to tell at some point in the very near future about this resource available in our rural areas. So I'm hoping to follow up with Penny and Amy to see about making that happen. So just stay tuned. And I'm trying to then also lower my hand, and it's not cooperating. So,
It's okay.
all right. Thanks, you guys.
Sure. Would all of our committee topics be a good subject for the podcasts?
I think
So
they would
people
be.
could know what we're up to?
Yes. Yes. And that's, yes. Yep.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yep.
All right. So we will move on to discussion items, which is going to be a chunk of this meeting, I think. There was a large packet included with our materials, and that is the bylaws update. And I'm going to let Melissa and Jared take the meeting over from here.
I'll kind of start just a little bit. A reminder that Jared did kind of outline these last month as well. But I know even for myself, I had to kind of go back and look at the bylaws and just kind of see the extent of things that have been crossed out and changed. You know, it is kind of, there are some short and sweet bullet items here that we can kind of keep it that basic. And again, Jared did kind of go over this last time. So this is, just kind of an opportunity to remind people. And then because we are making an additional change of taking innovations in aging out of our bylaws altogether, since they're not around anymore, that will go out to public comment for the next 30 days. Jared will correct me if I said that wrong. Maybe it's 10 days. Maybe it says in here the clarification of how many days. So I'll just mention that briefly and then maybe turn it over to Jared.
Sure. So I'm happy to go over. I'm not going to go into quite the same detail I did last time. I'm happy to answer any questions if needed. The only change I made from the last meeting to this meeting was it was a typo. I just noticed as we were renumbering things that the numbers did not renumber. And that was just within one of the articles, but that was the only change from the last meeting. And so the process as we move forward, and the reason why the 30-day clock didn't start in June was I wanted to provide the commission any opportunities to make further changes and to really dive into it. But if this works, then we can go in and start the 30-day clock, and then have these ready for adoption at the August meeting. I'm happy to answer any questions or if I need to go into more detail as needed.
So just a reminder, commissioners, that it will be a formal vote in August. I don't think that folks will have a whole lot of things that they're going to be too worried about, but again, now is your chance that if you want to ask questions, you know, kind of clarify anything. And hearing nothing, I think maybe we can probably move on. And thank you, everybody.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I lost you all. Okay, so next is member entity announcements. Does anybody have any announcements to share with the group? Any events coming up that people want to, I know the Walk to End Alzheimer's is coming up on September 28th at, where are we at this year?
Prospect Lake still.
Okay, thank you.
Penny, I think Penny might have some things to say about Park County.
Okay, super.
Or is she looking at me like, what am I asking her? Or did we lose Penny?
I'm here, I'm back. Park County is very much hopping. Lots and lots of folks are signing up for, the services that we have. Kind of worries me about the money that we have versus the services. So we get a lot of people in there. We're going to be at the Park County Fair this Saturday from 8 until about 3 at our booth, giving away lots of goodies and talking to people. And then we're going to be Pro Days the following week, and we'll be there the majority of that day. And we'd love it if you guys came down and said hello. And then we're going to also do the tractor pull that's in August. So we've got a very, very busy agenda here. It's interesting. And we now have an office up in Bailey. So we have the Fair Play office and a Bailey office. So that's really cool. A lot of the clients like to come in and say hello, come in for a big hug or cry if they want to, whatever it might be, or help them out with any documentation they need. So I love it seeing coming together, and we're working very close with the Alliance up in Bailey. And this is really huge because one of my employees from this program managing, Jeff, he is now working up there one day a week to help them and bring this sort of, I don't know, synergy into what it is that we do in helping seniors. So they're all excited about that. They love it that he's there. I can't tell you, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he really cares about people, and he's tech savvy, which I'm not. So that's really a huge plus. I probably
Penny,
made
this is
Jody
Jody.
say.
I am just so thrilled to hear that those collaborative efforts have really panned out. and that you all are working so closely together. That's just really exciting. It's been a long time coming, and so glad that it's
Yes.
truly come to fruition now. So good
I
job.
just kept my head down and kept going.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
There you go.
Yeah,
And
we
I'll
had some
just
beautiful
augment-
flags made up too.
Yeah, Penny is doing a great job, and has a heart for our seniors in Park County. And the tractor pull is actually in Lake George. So if anyone wants to make the short drive from El Paso or Teller up to Lake George, it's always a good time. And
Mhm.
the booth at the fair on Saturday, it is Fair Week. If you stick around a little bit after 3, I'll be showing a sheep in the celebrity stock show.
Oh,
So I get a chance to humble myself in front of all my constituents. So fair is a really good time, and Park County, we really put on a great fair, and 4-H is just raises up awesome kids. So I'm done.
my grandnieces and nephews are showing pigs, and they did it last year, and they did really well and earned a lot of money. And so they really fell in love with it. So these are little teeny weeny kids that are doing this. I'm always amazed at how they can get those pigs to do what they need to do.
That's fantastic. Hey, Penny, I have a question on your office in Bailey. Is that staff run or is it volunteer?
I am
or
up
both?
there on Mondays and Thursdays, or attempting to try and keep that schedule there. We're still kind of working it all out. And then Jeff is up there on Tuesdays. The Alliance office is literally right next door to my office. So it's
Okay.
huge how it just all works hand in hand and comes together. Diving into all their information and starting to organize it. Patty excited that all this is happening. And Patty Lucy, she's the president of the Alliance. We're working closely together to do a lot of events together and just really bring it all back, you know, that we're here. It's Park County and we're all Park County, not just down below Kenosha.
That sounds great. Good job.
Thank you.
Take a drive up there. Yeah. Anything else from any other member? Announcement wise? Going once, going twice. Since we're talking fair, sold. Just kidding. All right. Meeting schedule is item number 11, and our next commission meeting will be again virtual only, and it will be on August 21st. And our executive committee meetings are always the first Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. That's also Zoom. And that date will be August 7th. And then the policy committee meetings are to be announced, and the PPACG meetings are listed in a separate attachment. There they are. Thank you. All right. And then, do we want to list any items for next meeting? To get on the agenda for next meeting? We'll have a report from our caregiver meeting from Monday or Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I don't remember when it is. Tuesday. No, it's Monday. I don't know when it is. Anyway, so we'll
And-
have a
and
report
Madam-
from that meeting.
Tuesday, the 23rd.
Thank you. The 23rd. And yeah. Any
And
other
if I
items?
could just interject on those meetings, if you have 3 or more members of the commission who are planning to be in attendance, we just have to notice those. Just let me know when those meetings are.
Okay, so we will have 3 or more, and if Alyssa, are you considered a member of the commission?
Not really. So it's
No?
really
So-
you guys that are official, which there is more 3 of you. And
Yeah, for
so-
this purpose, we don't have votes and we don't count towards the quorum. So
Okay.
Correct.
Well, our meeting is on the 23rd virtually at 1 p.m.
If you can just send me that invite, I'll take it from there.
I don't
So
know.
Paula-
Oh, yes.
have it in person at your house.
We do have it in person at my house.
Mm-hmm. So just want to
So I will-
confirm that, because we
Yep,
will
we
put that
do.
address out there. You know,
Yes, you will.
nobody's gonna come. I know you have many fans. They already know where you live. So I know,
Stop.
but
No,
it's true.
that's fine.
Okay.
Stop.
All right.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And I can send Jared the information.
Great.
Absolutely. Thank you. I just pulled that up. All right, I will do that. Anyone's welcome if they'd like to come. too.
Right.
Great. Well, without any other items, I believe we are adjourned
Uh,
at 4:01. 4:04. Did someone, Kathy, did you have something?
I just wanted to know if Paul's house was accessible.
It is accessible. There's no steps at all at my house to get into the patio or to get into the house. There are no steps at all.
Okay.
But there is dirt.
Oh,
There's, yeah, well, I'm in an alley, so there's like gravel. Part of it's paved, part of it's kind of gravel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so
But-
Kathy, I was gonna call you and dial you in for that meeting.
okay, that works.
Yeah, but feel free if you change your mind and think you want to do that, but I kind of think it would be a tight fit, number one, for the mobility vehicle to get into, and then I just worry about the softer ground. I know Paula moved herself around in a wheelchair on her hard scrabble space, but I think it might be a lot. So, but we'll definitely call you in unless you change your
Okay.
mind, and just let me know.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that sounds fine. I just want to make sure I'm there and I
Yes.
mean, in person or by phone.
Yep.
My husband's stuck on the Mountain Metro ramp outside, so I need to go help him.
Okay.
His chair is stuck on the ramp. That's kind of,
Oh,
That's
no.
terrible.
yeah. He's been sitting out there for like half an hour.
Oh
The wheels
my.
are stuck. It's kind
Oh,
of,
no.
like, this should never happen.
Well, good luck,
Okay.
Kathy.
Okay, thank you.
All
All these
right,
little things, all the trials, right?
right. Okay. So that being said, you can send the address out for anyone that would like to attend. Does our guest have any comments after sitting through our meeting?
It was interesting to see what you do, and I'd like to find out some more of the details of what needs you meet in the community and all that sort of stuff. But Melissa has indicated that she would wire me into some of it. So I appreciate your inviting me to the meeting.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And I want to know if you won the tournament the other day. Did you win the golf tournament?
Almost.
Oh, great, great, great. Well, that's all for today. We'll meet again in August 21st and executive committee on the 7th and caregiver symposium or whatever we're going to call it on next Tuesday, the 23rd. We'll see everyone on the next meeting.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye all.
Bye.